What up, though? It is Saturday morning. That means it is time for the best sports show, probably in the world. Possibly. Quite possibly. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and say so. This is Sports Saturday. I am your boy, Rashad Taylor. Joe Fisher is out. He was just at the World Cup, so that means it is a Schultzy and Shad edition with my guy, Jordan Schultz, behind the glass. What's going on, bro?
What's going on? Happy Saturday, brother. I cannot believe that he even thought he could come in today.
I don't know
we
what
didn't
he was
get the word
thinking.
till like 4 a.m.
Yeah, it was like 4. My phone goes off, and our phones go off, and Joe lets us know that, hey, guys, I'm not going to make it. No S. Sherlock.
Well, it doesn't even... I don't know. It almost reads like the lady sent the text. Like, it's very, like, generic, like, very Siri-like, or like, hey, I need you to type this for me because I'm way too drunk.
Both can be true, and more than likely there was... I mean, let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. If I'm going to the World Cup, then gonna be pretty toasted. So, and if you're
I hope so.
If you like Friday nights, or if it used to be Saturday nights, if you like weekend nights, Sports Sunday, Sports Saturday isn't the show that you should be hosting. Just because, we end up foregoing a lot of those weekend nights because being here at 8-something, to start a show, and it used to be when we started at 8 a.m., being at the station at like 7
Yuck.
is pretty gross, on a Saturday or Sunday morning even. So
Doesn't sound like fun.
it's not fun. So this is definitely a lot more fun. At first, I'll be honest with the fans. I was a little mad that we were going from Sunday to Saturday. Like I was kind of hot. Sorry, boss man. I mean, it wasn't like it was like, man, that was kind of our show. And I knew for sure I would be able to get my Friday night in, maybe even a Saturday night, but yeah. So I was a little frustrated at first, but now I got to be real. I absolutely love being here on Saturday mornings. Like it was a great change, and it really is the best change. So
I like having Saturday nights open too because
it really frees things up as far as my weekend and stuff like that.
It seems like more stuff's happening on Saturdays too. Like
sure.
Friday's got, I don't know, it's Friday night. Like as a kid growing up, like that was the ultimate. Like once you are done with
once you're out of school, yeah,
you go out, hang out with friends, flirt with girls, go to the football game. Whatever you do, you realize like, all right, this is the time. But Saturday nights here, I don't know what it is in 2026, but a lot of cool events going on Saturday nights. Like there's disco, like silent dance parties now at different parks around. Like so you can go buy headphones. Like my friends and I have done this. Yeah. And like or just,
I've seen that. It looks weird, like from a distance.
Yeah, you got like 50 to 100 people like
just
dancing
standing there with
music in their headphones
though.
Because you can see them, but they can hear the music. You can't.
I gotta be real.
Weird.
And to people that do that, it looks fun, but I gotta be honest, y'all look crazy.
Because
if you're just driving by, or if you're just kind of a bystander, and you see a bunch of people just vibing, just in the middle of a field with no music playing, it looks a little crazy. But then you see the headphones, and you're like, oh, okay. But otherwise, it just looks like everybody is on drugs in the middle of a field.
Although, hey, man, it's in the eye of the beholder, right? You could see that and be like, I want to be a part of it. So I don't know. Like, there's so many fun things. Like right now because of Rose Fest that was happening. So I guess Friday or Saturday. This time of year doesn't even matter because I feel like it's been very busy either way. Everywhere I go, it's just kind of like, oh my god.
Well, World Cup is taking over, bro.
It has,
has been.
I was in Seattle right before the Australia USA game. So.
Oh man, I probably would have stayed for. Maybe not have gone to the game, but not go to the game, but that energy would have been insane.
It looked fun, yeah. I mean, it was definitely something that I'm not sure we'll ever see in the U.S. again.
Oh no, not for the Olympics is here, or not here, but the Olympics is in.
The Olympics v. the World Cup. There's just some kind of crazy soccer fan. When it comes to football, I mean, Patrick Harris, resident football expert, will explain to you the hooliganism and the you think I diehard bleed my Mariners teal green? These fans are another level.
Oh no, and I totally hear you, and that's for just one sport. So now the Olympics come in, and it's in LA. You talk about patriotism for the World Cup. Yeah, it's going to be everywhere. There are people that aren't even soccer fans that were buying Venezuela or buying Mexico jerseys or buying, that had every jersey of every team. Like every time I'd walk past a sports bar or drive past a sports bar when there was a game on, it was packed, regardless of who was playing. And so I think for the Olympics, not going to say it's but in LA, I expect to see a bunch of Americana around there the entire time.
You really think the Olympics are now? This is. I feel like we've all kind of had this debate. Like the Olympics, just like the World Cup, have kind of ruined the infrastructure of the smaller, maybe not as ready areas like Torino, Italy back in the day, or the World Cup going to like Brazil and leaving all of those like massive stadiums that they built a few years ago. Like, it's nice that we've figured out how to do that kind of thing now.
Yeah,
like how we figured out how to put these events
infrastructure to do that.
I mean, look at how successful this World Cup is right now. Like, you talk about all the different venues that have ruckus crowds. I mean, the Boston-Scotland connection, I'm sure you heard about, Rashad, right? Mm-hmm. Bars in Boston had to basically, instead of 4 kegs a week, had to go up to 50 kegs a week.
That's
because
awesome.
The Scots were there buying booze,
going to make
drinking.
A quota for the year.
They were donating to like their charities there in Boston. They were cleaning up after themselves. Like, the Scots and the Bostonians have formed a love affair because of World Cup soccer. And then obviously the United States-Australia matchup last week, leading into, I think it was Iran and Egypt up in Seattle last night. Just crazy watch parties, the fans that are coming together, people that are living in cities. You heard Dirt and Sprague talking about this. Like, you know what? If there's like a big game in my city, I'm probably just going to wear one of the team colors and show up if it's not necessarily somebody I support, just to be a part of it.
And if you're not from here, it's an excuse to go to America, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, have you seen all like the YouTube videos or like the Instagram videos of like, people having American food for the first time? Like all the things that they might have heard about and seen. Like, it's just awesome. So it's been a really, and everybody knows you listen to the show for a long time. Probably I'm definitely not the biggest soccer fan here at the station, right? I'll go ahead and say that, I think we can all mark that. That's pretty accurate. That said, these parties and the energy that the World Cup has brought to the States, especially here in the Northwest, with it being up in Seattle, has been just bonkers. There hasn't been a primetime game that's been on that hasn't had a bar that was in business and booming at that point. So, Joe, we understand why you're not coming today.
We do. We absolutely do.
We kind of knew that he wasn't coming, for being all the way real. So
I wonder if Joe was explaining to any of the foreign fans about where they could find good American food that people are looking for. Because, like, I hear people have like fallen in love with like Buc-ee's. People have fallen in love, with the American staple condiment ranch dressing. They're reportedly having a TSA ranch problem. I don't know if you read this earlier this week, Rashad. Essentially, ranch is being snuck out of the country at a rate higher than we've ever seen.
Not weed.
Yeah,
ranch dressing.
Your carry-on was not made for 4 bottles of ranch, said TSA in a post on Instagram. And basically, because of that whole liquid rule, you got to put it in a bag. People are trying to subvert that rule and just throw these bottles of ranch dressing in their suitcases. Hey, I get it, dude. I love good ranch.
I mean,
if you're grabbing the Hidden Valley, I don't know. But if you're grabbing like some good restaurant-style ranch, take that S back in a bucket to Europe, because y'all don't have condiments like that there.
No, they really don't. Ranch is just that's going to be an upgrade for most. Honestly, for most cuisines, like ranch dressing could go really far for a lot of stuff. So, especially
pizza.
those that are just vegetable based. There are a lot of like cuisines that are just primarily vegetables. So yeah, maybe a little Hidden Valley, maybe just the seasoning. Go steal that, right? Just go get a bunch of the seasonings.
Pizza,
take that back.
Salad, chicken. Yeah. Like wings, burgers,
everything.
Ranch goes on.
Are you a ranch
everything.
on pizza guy?
Yeah, I did my pizza in ranch. Absolutely. It's
got to
be good ranch. It can't be like to me. And if you want to hit us up on like the YouTube chat or the text line 503-8646-FAN, there is a mustard-like background taste. Maybe you can agree with me. Tell me if I'm crazy or not on the Hidden Valley Ranch. Like to that, I like the freshly made restaurant style ranch, but Hidden Valley, it's got that like Miracle Whip mustard kind of backing to it.
I'm not a big ranch guy anymore.
I understand why you're not.
I used to be, and then all of a sudden one day I was like, this is kind of gross. I don't really like this like that. But I totally understand why. Ranch is a game changer, and for 32 years of my life was the only dressing I would ever eat on any salad. But I'm a grown up now, and so
you're a grown man.
Yeah, things are a little different. What else is a little different is we will not be here next Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
So next
Happy
Saturday
4th of
is the 4th of July. Happy early Independence Day to everybody. Hope you enjoy everything safely. But Sports Saturday will not be here. So that's 2 weeks of no Joe Slacker and only 1 week of no us. So I guess we better make today count, yeah?
Yeah, we can't let off fireworks, though, in the city of Portland. That's still those are banned. That's still allowed. Supposedly.
Listen.
People going to be lighting off
There's
fireworks.
not enough of them to stop us all from lighting fireworks. Sorry, y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to happen. So
Well, when cops are pretty much driving down the block and applauding at whatever they see, like, they're not going to do it.
So, lock your dogs up and everything. You know, they're probably going to be a little annoyed because it's going to get loud out there.
Yeah, the animals. You got to turn a little white noise on for them. You got to do something. It always scares them.
Yeah. All right, well, shoot, let's talk some sports, man. I didn't think we had a lot to talk about, but Jordan told me otherwise. So, obviously, tons of Blazer stuff. Brand new coach. Finally got him. Happened a little later than all of us thought, but it did happen. We'll talk about Micah Nori. Also, our owner, as the Blazers owners, you know, things continue to get weird for a lot of people. I don't think it's as big a deal as everybody else does, but we'll check in with some Dundon news and quotes and everything. Like, we haven't talked college football in a long time. I mean, I know we're about 2 months out. You know, the first game is, I believe, August 28th or 29th, one of those two.
So, yeah, we are literally 62 days away, 61 days away.
So, but I would like to talk some Oregon Ducks. It's been a long time, so we're just going to talk some general news and everything, maybe some expectations at this point in the season about the Oregon Ducks. That and much more, that's going to happen right here, Sports Saturday, 105.1 The Fan.
Honey?
Network, 105.1 and 1080, The Fan.
The Blazers have a new leader. Well, at least on the sideline. They've hired Timberwolves assistant Micah Nori to a 1-year deal with a couple incentives after the first year, which a lot of people are pissed off about. The first part is the contract. But we knew.
Yeah, should we address that one first? The whole contract situation?
I think we probably should.
We don't have to dive too far into it, but you give your take first, and I'll give mine because I'm kind of upset about the reaction to this, but I really want to hear what you have to say too.
Well, I mean, exactly 1 year, and then there are team options applicable for the 27-28 year and the following year. And basically, it's just a contract. If you do well, we'll give you more, and incentives and all the stuff. And obviously, it's got a lot of criticism throughout the league. JB Bickerstaff said it was a slap in the face to the coach's value, which I tend to agree with. Here's a guy in Dundon who's been known even to his days back in starting as the Hurricanes owner, and we'll talk about that in a little while. But has been just known as this cheapskate. We've known that since he's come in. He's openly told us that he didn't plan on paying a coach more. I'm still trying to figure out why Cronin didn't step in and say no. Like, you have to spend X amount of money on coaches. I mean, I'm not curious if what their relationship is. We haven't heard much about what Joe Cronin's relationship is with Micah Nori, right? Good, bad, or otherwise.
I mean, we did hear during the initial talks about who they're going to hire that I think Cronin said that if they find, a bigger name like a Mike Malone, guy that's been on the bench, experienced, has that resume, they will open the checkbook for him. But this was the case. It was an assistant. Yes, he's been around the NBA for a while, lead assistant for the Timberwolves for the last 5 years, has not gotten that opportunity yet, but essentially an unproven assistant still. And it's essentially a prove-it deal for him, and we can talk about whether or not you like that. We've got audio from him talking about why he doesn't care about that, and I actually truly believe him, frankly. But it really comes down to what can the Blazers do to maximize value for themselves. And usually, it's crazy. We talk about like the trade market, Rashad. We want best players coming back and the least going out,
right.
The least amount of value. Why is coaching hiring any different here?
It's not. And I think that's where people are kind of hung up. How good a good coach can be for a franchise,
yes.
Right? If you have a great player that can carry you for a long time, then that's one thing. But a good coach can get you out of sticky situations, which is why a lot of people are kind of dumping on Mitch Johnson right now, is because here is a coach that had a lot of pieces around him but just didn't make some of those adjustments when he needed to, and ultimately cost him an NBA championship. So we know coming out of a timeout with 4 seconds left in the game or 12 seconds left and you need a bucket to tie it up, or you need to, make a play, somebody that can draw up a play on the sideline, or somebody that can calm their superstar down and tell them to keep shooting on a bad night, somebody that can get their defensive guy kind of grounded and heads back in the game. You need a coach that can do all those things on the sideline. And that's what you pay him for. You pay him to manage those egos. You pay him. These are $1 million athletes, multi-million dollars, in some cases $100 million athletes. Like, you have to be able to kind of massage and stroke those egos and let them know how important they are and what they mean to this team. So it's more than just, hey, I'm paying a coach $1 million to come in and just be the adult when they go to the amusement park. No, that's not what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be somebody that can guide them to ultimate victory. And so, yeah, I do think, not spending money on a coach was a problem. I think really letting go of the coach that you had that got you 42 wins in his first season was a bad idea. But, I that's a different story. But either way, I'm not necessarily mad at Micah Nori. He's somebody that has a relatively good relationship, with players that he's played with, that he's coached. He's got years of experience. He's been able to coach with guys like Chris Finch and Mike Malone. So he's been under some guys that are pretty good coaches. So I assume he's learned a lot, or at least you'd hope that he's learned a lot. He's been able to play with, or I keep saying play, forgive me, coach great players, over the last few years, like a 3-time MVP, like a guy like Anthony Edwards. And so, yeah, do I think it could be a good thing for this young Blazers team with a veteran point guard like Damian Lillard and Drew Holiday? Yeah, I think this could be a really good thing for them. But do I think it could backfire? I do. So right now I'm 70-30 on it, just based on how everybody else, like a lot of basketball pundits, feel about Micah Nori, the coach. Mm-hmm. I'm like, all right, I'll kind of lean into that part.
Well, let me break this down into 2 parts, kind of to respond to what you just said about not liking it so much over losing Tiago. And then I'll kind of get to the contract stuff and why I don't really mind, and why I think people that are bitching about it and giving Tom Dundon crap are just kind of looking for something to be mad about. Like, we always got to find something to be upset about on social media, and I kind of feel like that's what we're doing. But as far as the actual hire goes, basketball IQ-wise, I heard more in that press conference, and we'll get to some of the audio here today. Really good stuff from Micah Nori, new Trailblazers head coach, introduced earlier this week with general manager Joe Cronin. I heard more in that press conference about how he wants to run games, what he thinks about the team, what he thought the shortcomings of the Portland Trailblazers were last season, how he can implement new systems to fix those and get players to kind of ultimately one goal and really just playing hard. Like hearing him say, we're going to play hard for 48 plus, we're going to try our best, or I don't even think he said try. I think he said we're going to make, a huge effort to play mistake-free basketball for 48 plus. Like the kinds of things that he highlighted as opposed to Tiago Splitter, just I'm not trying to bag on the guy, and I'm really happy that he is now, a full-time head coach in the NBA. Only 30 of these jobs. He's obviously qualified to a certain degree for now the Bulls. But I heard him reading box scores a lot of the time in post-game sessions for the Blazers, and he didn't really break down what was wrong. He just kind of talked about, Deni Avdija shot well, and we had some rebounds, and there was some missed turnovers there. Robert Williams, though, had 2 steals. Scoot, though, 3 turnovers here. It's like, all right, stop reading the numbers to me. I understand it's a little hard to kind of maybe recall certain moments right after you get off the court, but I do get frustrated a little bit with that. It just seems like inexperience to me. So hearing a whole 180 from that, Micah Nori just kind of ready to dissect the patient. You know what I mean? Go in, find what's broken and fix it, and knows what he needs to do. He sounds like the surgeon that I would want, as opposed to maybe like the more inexperienced surgeon that, just came out of medical school like Tiago Splitter here. So
no, yeah, I get it.
I love the difference in that.
No, I definitely get it. Nori has many, many more years, dating back to 2009, I believe, was when he started with the Raptors. So he's a guy that's been around. Tiago, again, has coaching experience, just not here in the NBA. You're talking about a guy, Micah Nori, who was able to be on a coaching staff where a guy like Jokic, was there, and then to be able to be on a coaching staff with a young budding star in Anthony Edwards, and what that young team was able to do. A lot of people praised him as being kind of the quote-unquote mastermind behind the defense there in Minnesota. And so, yeah, I think based on those things, based on again, the things that other people, the writers from Minnesota, the writers from other, news outlets are saying about Micah Nori as a coach and as a guy in the huddle, I think you kind of have to like it. Even when him saying, and I heard some things from the press conference, I didn't hear it all, forgive me, but, about him just wanting to open things up and play more free-flowing. And you mentioned just minimizing those mistakes and fixing the offense and trimming the turnovers and little stuff like that. Those are things you want to hear. I've talked often about all the blown second-half leads that the Blazers had this season, 18 of them to be exact, or 16 of them, to be exact.
And he even pointed out how close they have been in less than 2 possession games. I think they were 21 and 22 last year. So points of improvement that you're highlighting that he was there on, man.
Yeah. So he's showing ways that the Blazers can get better. And with the addition of a Damian Lillard, the Blazers absolutely need shooting, and I think he's going to provide a lot of that. So, yeah, I think Micah Nori, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt at this point. You have a ready-made team, right? Not very many coaches get a chance to take over a team that was just in the playoffs and continues to get better. And they've got young assets. You've got a bunch of draft capital, which may or may not come into play for your team over the next couple weeks. Fingers crossed that it does. But, yeah, I think right now this is a great move for the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah.
They needed a coach. They got a guy now. They've got somebody that can really start building his offense the way he wants to build it and really kind of map out his defense to kind of do that. So I'm just curious how fans feel about it. I don't have a text line up in here. Do you have it up?
Not right now, but I can get the YouTube and that up
Please
as well.
do. Yeah,
Also, I really wanted to wrap up the conversation, Rashad, about how everybody feels about the contract situation. The whole argument that the Blazers are, cheaping out or making the value of head coaches overall go down is what JB Bickerstaff said. Like, are we not giving teams like the Phoenix Suns a heap of crap when they fire 3 head coaches in a row, basically had to before Monty Williams got paid out by the Pistons. We're going to have to cover his $20 million that they let go. Then they turn around and sign Frank Vogel for like $30 million over 5 years. Then the next season, they go to Budenholzer, give him more money than they gave Frank Vogel. Now they've moved on to Jordan Ott, but still left with like $50 to $60 million. That is not a small number, Rashad, of dead money that they have to pay head coaches.
No.
So you're telling me that a first-time head coach, this is where I disagree with J.B. Bickerstaff's comment, because if you missed J.B. Bickerstaff, he is the coach's representative for like it's not the coaches or the Players Association, but it's the coaches equivalent of that. He basically said that this deal is killing the value, or insult to the value, I think is what he said, of us and the guys in our profession. Hold on, everybody. To quote Swag, you're telling me that unproven assistants should be given 5-year deals right off the bat? Well, I thought that was a mistake when the Blazers did it with Chauncey Billups, and lo and behold, the circumstances, whatever they may be with whatever's playing out, it was a mistake, okay? He was actually never over 500 as a coach regardless. Maybe you saw some things that you liked, but he had such a long leash, Rashad, that then we saw a little something that we then gave him a longer leash because of that.
I get it. I get that.
I just don't agree with those long leashes to start.
I get that. You know, I think 5 years for any job is too long because you don't understand the dynamics of everything yet, you know, in certain cities. I think whenever you offer a 15-plus year coaching veteran in the National Basketball League or the National Football League or Major League Baseball, if you were to offer just to lowball a garbage deal to one of those guys, it would be insulting, just a little bit. I mean, because now you're kind of damaging your franchise's reputation.
I would agree with that.
You don't really care about you. That's how some people kind of felt initially when I heard it. I was like, man, that's kind of weak.
Well, but are we talking like a 15-year coaching veteran like a Mike D'Antoni, or like a,
or I'm
or
saying
if
you've been an NBA assistant head coach, or assistant coach, I'm sorry, they just don't keep those. You just don't get retained because you're a good dude. You have to know what you're doing.
I feel like sometimes they get retained.
No, sometimes there's some people that are there because they're buddies with somebody else.
You really think Rick Brunson's that great of a coach in New York? Come on, like,
I mean, they got to a championship.
Yeah, because of Mike freaking Brown, okay?
Now it's because of Mike Brown, the guy who was in Sacramento and nobody believed in.
I believed in him then. Sacramento should not have fired him.
He took his team to the finals once. He took his team to the finals once, and everybody's like, he only got there because he had
LeBron.
Like,
yeah,
I mean,
shut up. Mike Brown knows what he's doing.
Now he's a good coach because he wins, and that's what winning a championship does for you. So, yeah, I do think there is value, and obviously he trained his son, and he got there, so there's some value in having Rick Brunson around. It works. We're gonna stay Blazers right now, man. So they have a coach now. Will they have an arena? Probably, maybe not. We'll talk about that when we come back. But first, Jordan has sports.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, lots of World Cup action continuing into the weekend. It was a tie up in Seattle last night between Egypt and Iran. 1-1 the final. Of course, that is why our own Joe Fisher not here this morning, but a lot more action going into today as well. First at 2 on FS1, you got Croatia taking on Ghana, and then also at 2 on Fox, you've got England and Panama going at it. England, of course, needing a win to advance past the group stage. Over to baseball, the Mariners getting a win over the Guardians in Cleveland last night. 3-1 the final, thanks to nice night by Colt Emerson. A big home run for him, 7th of the year, and another RBI added by Julio helped with the win. They'll be back at it today. Gilbert v. Sassoni on the bump, 4:10 first pitch on Mariners TV. And the Travelers Championship happening over at TPM Cromwell in TPM River Highlands, in Cromwell, Connecticut right now. Scotty Scheffler, your leader, at 16 under. He's getting going with number 2 Victor Hovland at 14 under at 11 a.m. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schultze from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Curtain missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of dirt and spray. Weekday morning 6 to 10. And 1080, The Fan.
You recognize this, Rashad?
Do I?
You have heard this music probably
I
more
probably
than 100 times in your life.
Probably have.
This is hold music, brother.
It's who?
This is hold music.
Oh, okay.
It's literally in our system as opus number 1, hold music. So I can only assume it was literally written to specifically be hold music because it's like a no royalty thing or whatever.
No. I don't mind it. I mean,
Thank
I
you.
don't mind it.
Thank you for staying on the line. Your call is very important to us.
9:32 here on this kind of overcast Saturday. What's the weather look like today?
Oh, like 65 and possible rain. Then thunderstorms possible tonight is what I saw earlier this week on the weather report.
Also a beautiful summer night in Portland, huh?
A 95% chance of rain, sir.
Shocker.
Shocker. And yeah, we're looking at about, over the next 24 hours, my weather app says a third of an inch.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. At least in some regards.
I kind of got a little bit ahead of myself. Well, we start talking about Dundon and the and everything. I think I want to stay with Micah Nori for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
I know we got some audio. Yeah.
Oh, we got a ton. I got some good clips for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I can set
Okay.
'em up.
So yeah, I don't know exactly what you have back there. I don't
Yeah.
have the board right in front of me here.
No, it's okay. We can just kind of go back and forth with this. So yeah, Thursday was when I think it was about a half an hour press conference that Mike Nori and Joe Cronin had. Just really good insight that Rashad and I were talking about, that we heard from Mike Nori, some actual points that he knows that he can improve this team on, and excited to get Dame back on the roster as well. And along with that, though, unfortunately, there were kind of some awkward moments. So I kind of wanted to address those first because we were talking about the contract stuff.
Get him
for
out the
Rashad.
way.
So yeah, let's first talk about how he reacted to the comment from J.B. Bickerstaff that we were just highlighting, that, hey, you know what, this kind of trashes on head coach's value everywhere. Here's what Mike Nori had to say in response to J.B. Bickerstaff and just about the contract overall.
I spoke to JB today, and he called me, and I said the way that I took that comment was that he is the president of 285 coaches, and he is defending his union. I sit on the board of that coaches group, and then we had a very good conversation, and we're fine. I'm fine with what he said. He has no bearing on me and how my feel is. As far as the contract goes and the way it's set up, the way that I look at this is opportunity. For 28 years, the first 25 of which I never had an agent. So every decision that I made, never once did money come into play, or the years. I look at the opportunity, knowing if I am successful, that all those other things will take care of themselves. And for 28 years, I've been very, very fortunate. I'd like nothing more than in about 5, 6, 7 years to Joe be the first guy to ever fire me in the NBA. So 28 years I've been on a bench. And the way I look at it, when you talk about opportunity, is number one, do I believe that I can do the job? Yes, I do. Do I believe in this roster? Do I believe in Drew Holiday and Denny Advia and Dame Lillard and City and Donovan and Scoot? And the list goes on and on. Yes, I do. Do I believe in Joe? Absolutely. You look at the roster that has been in the playoffs, we're adding Dame, and where we can go in the future as far as flexibility and what he's done in roster management. And then Tom. Do I believe in Tom and do I trust Tom? I base it on what he's told me and the conversations that we've had. And all I do is I can go on what his track record shows. And I know that 7 days ago, he lifted a cup with the Carolina Hurricanes with the only coach that he's had in the 8 years as owner of that team. So again, to answer your question, the contract, those things will all take care of itself. Somewhere down the road, we're not going to get into the amount of monies and all that. That's nobody's business. But as far as I'm concerned, the contract is signed. It's in a drawer. I've never seen anybody, player or coach, bring their contract out onto the floor and say, okay, well, your contract is this. We'll give you 5 more points in that and there. And I believe in these people standing behind all this group with this staff that, again, is a playoff coaching caliber staff and whoever else we bring in to add to that. And I am super excited, and that's the way I base it and think on it.
I mean, that sounds like the most excited you could be about a 1-year deal with 2 team options following that. Like, he just doesn't care. And I love it, man. I love the fight.
He gets to coach an NBA team for a year and get paid $1 million to do it. Like, there are worse jobs to have, folks. Let's just be, completely real. Like, does he have the longevity off top that he's looking for? No, but winning changes everything. Nothing. That's the kind of the stance that I'm taking with this whole thing, including Tom Dundon, and we'll get to that in a while. But winning cures everything. Once people start winning games, having winning seasons, winning awards, all of a sudden, things become a little bit easier, for you to do. And so if he goes out there and he has a successful season, they make the playoffs, which at this point, all of us expect Portland to do. With all the trades that we've seen so far here in the Western Conference, we expect the Blazers to be one of those teams that is somewhere between, 6 and 7 or 5 and 7? Something like that. You got the 7th seed this year. You're hoping that they're anywhere between 5 and 7-ish. Anything less than that is a disappointment. So as long as he's not the disappointment that, honestly, that Coach Billups was for 3 years, then I think you've got a chance for him to be successful.
Let's talk about the success that Micah Nori thinks that he can have with the team. He has, like I said, multiple points that he thinks he can improve on from last year, and he dove into some of those in his opening presser.
Our identity is when they come in here 41-plus nights a year with the energy we have in this building, we want to make sure that we are a physical team. We don't want to use the word by just in a relentless team where everything and make them feel this, all those things, but we have to make sure, and the great thing about this roster is we have defenders all across the board, and so defensively just picking up, being physical, not let people go where they want to go, push them off those spots, turn the people over. We have a team that should be able to create turnovers and play with greater pace. And that will be the main thing. And like I said before, we're not going to be a team that sits around and hopes people miss. We're going to force them to make tough shots where we want them to be. Offensively, the easiest way to think of it is when the clock is moving, we're moving. We're not going to take it out, look over, get play calls, walk it up. And I know everybody says that, but we will do that, and we will do it with defined spacing. We'll get to the corners, dunkers, create space for these guys, and it'll be a lot more concepts where it's not just play calls where you're going from A to B. There'll be reads, decision-making, and that will also help cut down the turnovers, which we led the league in, as I mentioned. So they will know where the openings will be, that type of thing there. We will also crash the glass, get the extra point, extra possessions, because it is an analytical game when it comes to that, as far as not turning it over and going to get second chance points. And as we mentioned, 21 and 22 in 2-possession games. So any place where you can win those margins, that's what it will be.
He's saying all the correct things. Everything that you've ever yelled at your TV about when you're watching the Blazers, or if you've ever been to the Moda Center and you've been yelling about hit the corner or space the floor or move the ball, play with urgency, any of those things you've ever said to your television set or yelled at the court from the Moda Center, Micah Nori just hit everything on the nose. That's what you want from a head coach. You mentioned Tiago and just going through, the stats and everything like that, keeping it very generic. Micah Nori just opened it up for you and told you exactly his game plan for the Blazers. Open things up for our shooters. Make sure dunkers get easy shots. Make sure we crash the boards for second opportunities. those are the things that you really, really want to hear from a team who's right there on the cusp and just really needs that kick in the ass to go from good to great. Right now, the Blazers are a good team, right? They're a good team. But given the right coach, the right situation, they can be a great team. You look at what Daigneault did, and I think initially people look at OKC and it's like, oh, they've always been great. It's hard to believe for those who've been around for a minute that OKC they're really on their fourth year of real dominance as a franchise, right? Excuse me, not a franchise, but with this iteration of guys, the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander led team. This has only been 4 years, but it seems like it's been a long time, with them being on top. And I think Daigneault came in and really changed the way that this team looks, the way this team plays. And it really takes a good head coach. Maybe Micah Nori is that good head coach that the Blazers have been looking for.
I mean, it's a hell of a lot more insight than
you're a loser.
That's all we got from Chauncey Billups. It was well, there's too many turnovers, and if you play like that,
you're a loser.
What are we doing? I could not believe that we re-signed that guy. And frankly, it's a blessing in disguise what happened, because now the Blazers have ended up with Micah Nori. And you talk about Rashad in the last segment kind of highlighting it's been a while for him. He didn't get his chance until I think he's 52 years old, to be a head coach. He's been an assistant in the league since 2009. So we're talking 16, 17 years of development here. And he's been through interview processes, I think, for the Lakers job, for the Knicks when that became open a couple of years ago. He's been in those talks, but it's oh, you know what? Hey, we like you. Haven't seen you sit in the seat yet. And there's been a fight for him to get to this point. And I think that's something to highlight too, that we were talking about that dog, that sounds like he's ready to go.
Oh man, he's an Italian dude that's ready for smoke. Who wants it? And I think that's the reason he's been so respected and he's never been fired. He's just got an opportunity to coach a lot of different characters, within the NBA. He was a baseball guy, right? He was a baseball player and then was a baseball coach when he was in college. And so a grad assistant. So
has a son right now in baseball, in Major League Baseball, the minors. I think.
So he's a guy who just knows how to coach sports. And so if that goes a really long way. So I think this can be a great thing for the Blazers team. And you got an adult. You just said he's 52 years old. He's not 38 years old. He's not the same age as his players for the most part, just a little bit older than them. He's somebody who's been around the block a couple times. And so, I think this could be a great thing for this Blazers team. And I think fans, give it time. Give it time. Give the man an opportunity to be good. And he only got a year, so there you go. At least I say give him at least 30 games before we start freaking out.
Let's wrap this up here with his comments about not getting discouraged, because it really does. It just kind of gives you insight to who he is. And I'm not sure we've had a coach like this in Portland. Rashad, take a listen.
I've interviewed for so many jobs, so I think it was a total of 7. And for about 5 of them, I would assume they probably said, Micah, you are number 2. And that's taking away nothing from any other candidate. But the reason I was number 2, I didn't get discouraged, but when you get calls, hey, and I said, what is this like with this Knicks situation? Micah, you were phenomenal, but, Mike Brown, a great job. They made the right hire. Mike Brown's done it before. We've never seen you sit in that seat. Cleveland, Micah, we're ready to win, and we've never seen you sit in that seat. Everything is great, but when you slide over, everybody says that 18 inches. So do I get discouraged? Absolutely not. I don't stay in this league. You don't stay in this thing for 28 years, starting where I started, and continue to do this. I do know this. When you start in this business, it's do your job well. It's such a small way. You don't tear other people down, and you continue to work, and then the benefits and the opportunities present themselves. And that's what I have, is an opportunity, thankful to Joe, thankful to Tom, to be a head coach of a playoff roster and build from there. So I was never discouraged. If anything, you get just more encouraged, and things happen for a reason. My wife always tells me that. And to sit here and say that we have a playoff roster, adding a future Hall of Famer in this great city with this fan base and the support that we get, it's an opportunity that I could not pass up, and it was ecstatic to take. That's why I get choked up, because it's better than what I could have ever imagined.
Yeah, he was when he was thanking people, he was getting a little choked up, which is what he was referencing there, Rashad.
There couldn't be a better team for him to go to. You talk about being second. Yeah. With the exception of Damian Lillard, who's coming off an Achilles injury, you got a bunch of guys who've never been first, who are always considered the other guy on the team, from Klingon in college,
Yep.
from Jeremy Grant, from Scoot. Like, everybody on this team can say then they've ever been considered the guy for whatever reason. And so here's Mike Noria that's coming in and teaching, man, just go out there and play and let's shock the world. I'm with it. I love it. He's saying all the right things, and that's exactly what you want to do is to start.
And I love the fact that we're talking about the time that he has put in, just in general, like in hiring for any job, Rashad. I think you want a candidate like that that's maybe been the one that's overlooked or has been right there in the past for other
sure.
promotions or jobs, but it's just not quite there.
It's not your time. It's not okay.
As opposed to, and then that guy continues to grind, continues to work, continues to show up, continues to learn more every day, as opposed to, Rashad, a buddy hire where, oh, my guy Chauncey Billups back in LA had a year on the bench as an assistant. He's ready. Let's throw him in one of the most pivotal times of an organization where Damian Lillard is like almost ready to go, and they've got to play some defense, but let's just make a young hire. No, thank God the Blazers actually did this correctly, and it's just a breath of fresh air.
Breath of fresh air. Well, get ready to have the air sucked out of the room, because changes look like they're maybe coming, maybe not coming. So we will finally talk about this whole Moda Center Blazers situation when we come back right here, Sports Saturday on The Fan.
For 250 years, America has been more than a place. It's been a promise. And 1080, The Fan.
Do you know the song, Joe?
I've heard it.
It's a good song. New edition. Little new edition, too.
This is old.
Oh, yeah, man. Speaking of old, that Moda Center, man, I believe it's one of the oldest arenas, the oldest arena?
I think it's definitely bottom 10. As far as like newly renovated arenas, it's definitely near the bottom.
Okay.
I know like Chicago's super old.
So
yeah.
Definitely in need of an upgrade. And right now there is just a huge debate, really over proposed $600 million makeover to the city-owned, very important to say, city-owned Moda Center. And it's really kind of being led by, obviously, the Blazers' new owner, Tom Dundon, and his really firm-ass refusal to contribute any type of private funding. And that's where the debates is starting to come in amongst people. And it's kind of holding up the process, because I think we all really know the answer and we're trying to, dribble around it for whatever reason. Tom Dundon and the Portland Trailblazers do not own the Moda Center.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, y'all. They don't. You wouldn't expect anybody to pay for your home, right? To pay for any changes to your home. That's just not what it is. Like the city, us, we, the tax-paying people here
The tenants, yeah.
Yeah, the tenants here
aren't the one paying.
Yeah, we are the ones that are, kind of paying for the Moda Center. The Blazers are something that we enjoy for that, so we pay for it. That's just kind of what it is.
Portland Fire are now tenants. The Winterhawks have been tenants.
They're just,
you got to think of the
they're just
Blazers
renting.
at this point like the Portland Winterhawks.
They're just renting. They're just renting, So Tom Dundon doesn't have any real obligation to pay for anything. Let's just be real. Jordan, you mentioned something, and I hadn't really thought of it, up until today. And you can explain a little more because I know we're talking a little deeper about it. But the Blazers have been really, really lucky for most of my basketball fandom for the Blazers because Paul Allen was their owner for a long time. Paul Allen was like the richest guy on earth, for the most part.
Second to only Bill Gates for quite a while. And he still, before he died, I think he was at least in the top 10 or top 15 until he passed away.
So that luxury tax and those other things, and he actually put in money to, help build Moda Center or renovate the first time. Well, not the first time, but one of the times that there was a renovation. How long ago was that renovation?
So there were a couple of renovations right around when the name was changed from Rose Garden to Moda. I think they did one in 2013. And then the most recent one, where they added the screen and stuff like that, that was a couple of years ago, obviously, after Paul Allen had passed away. But initially, you go look at, and this is why you bring up the point, Rashad, that Portland Trailblazers fans and the city of Portland in general has been really lucky and has kind of had a sweetheart deal as compared to other teams. When Moda was built as the Rose Garden back in the mid-'90s, Paul Allen was one of the main contributors of funds in that. He put up almost $50 million originally to build the Moda Center. Now, of course, we're in 2026. Arenas are no longer in the hundreds of millions. They cost $600-700 million, as we're seeing, just to renovate. The Moda originally cost $262 million to build. So we're now in crazy different numbers. But as a part of that, Paul Allen, the owner at the time for the Blazers, just doing quick math, almost $50 million is right under 20% of that $262 million. So for the next 20 years after that, Paul Allen not only bought the arena back from the city when it was struggling at one point in 2007, continued to put money in, continued to upgrade the facilities. Even when Moda came in, Paul Allen put money in then. That it's a lot different of a deal, Rashad, than any other city has had with their teams. I think the NFL has one example of private money being used for a stadium. That was SoFi. Right. Stan Kroenke moving the Rams basically because LA is like, dude, we've got way too much other stuff going on, and we've already got enough sports teams. If you want to come here, you've got to make it happen.
Yeah.
This is a little different situation in which the Portland Trailblazers are integral, not to just the business of the city of Portland, but to the state of Oregon.
Oh, for sure.
And there is an argument now about that, Rashad. But I wanted to point out, as we're fighting over this $600 million, and we can get into it next hour too, because I know we're kind of coming up against it shortly here towards 10 o'clock. But there's a fight now for this $600 million, and it was announced earlier this week by Tom Dundon at the town hall that was held at the Moda Center that he will not be taking part in contributing to those renovation plans. That's it sucks to hear, but that's the deal
the team,
that every other team has in this league.
Yeah, I bought the team, not the arena. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. And if we're being honest, the Trailblazers use the arena for 6 months out of the year, 6-7 months. You start the couple preseason games you have, and if they make it deep into June, which they haven't yet, the season's typically over in April. So maybe May, beginning of May. So, yeah, you're talking about use of the building for 6 months. There are a lot of other things that are used, that the the Moda Center is used for. Just this year alone, I think Cardi B was there, this year.
I've seen Journey there. I've seen Justin Timberlake. I think.
So it's more than just the Blazers. I saw Ice Cube there. I saw Ice Cube there last year. I saw Wu-Tang there last year.
Dave Chappelle was there last year.
Dave Chappelle. So it's more than just the Trailblazers for 6 months out of the year. Yes, the Trailblazers have the building, more times than a Dave Chappelle throughout the year. But yeah, man, so I think we have to be just honest with ourselves and just say he bought the team and not the building. It's not his responsibility to pay for the building. Although if he's asking for certain stuff, then yeah, I mean, you should put in something. If you're demanding certain things in this building for you, then yes, I do think then you should be contributing something. But if you're just like, I just need an upgrade, do what you do. That's something different. But if you're coming in with plans of this is what I need this building to look like, then hell yeah, you need to be kicking something in.
Well, and Tom Dundon, new owner of the Blazers, we'll play this clip across the top of the hour, does think that he is contributing in some way, like just because they aren't putting up any of this $600 million. He'll get into like what the taxes are and paying these rates here in Portland and that money going back into the team regardless. Like he knows he's paying that tax. It's essentially going to go back into the Portland Trailblazers and Moda Center because of what these stipulations are around athletic events. So there's definitely that to think about as well. But remember, Portland fans, it's just been a weird situation. It's not the team that owns the arena anymore, and it has been that way for the past almost, 15, 20 years. I think they sold it back to the city. Paul Allen's estate did in 2024. They had bought it back from the city in 2007 to keep bankruptcy from happening at the time Rose Garden. So people kind of remember this like, okay, yeah, well, the owner usually must own the arena for every other team because it happened here in Portland. That's not how it goes, and I think people really need to understand that. And unfortunately, we're not talking hundreds of millions like we were in the 90s. We're now talking billions, and Rashad, I think that's kind of where we're getting hung up a bit. And obviously now arguments all over city council, all over the state of Oregon, even though despite the state of Oregon already saying they're going to contribute the money, people have opinions and are up in arms about paying public money for this, which I disagree with completely. Pay it. Get it done.
Yeah, so the current lease expires in 2030, and if a deal and a 20-year lease extension are not finalized by the December deadline, the state's $365 million commitment will expire. This timeline is forcing local leaders to expedite public forums, and with the Portland City Council scheduling a formal public hearing next month to gather resident feedback before making an official vote. So it needs to happen, and it's got to happen by like Christmas, right? We got to figure this out, man. We got to get this whole thing, because I do not want it to be the Carolina Blazers, excuse me. That would be just the most disheartening and hurtful thing that could ever possibly happen. So, yeah, so fingers crossed. I guess we're going to talk a little more, but I do kind of want to move on from this. I do want to talk about some other things have happened here in sports. There was a big trade that finally went down this week, right? We talked about that, but I do want to wrap up this Dundon thing, so we'll do that at the top of the hour right here. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Look at that one house on the block. Crisp siding.
10:01, hour 2, Sports Saturday. And I'm just reading something, bro. I don't know if you if you knew about this. Are you familiar with the actor Tom Hardy?
Yes, I know who Tom Hardy is.
Right? One of my favorite Batman villains, Bane.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
It was great.
Good.
Did you know that Tom Hardy is releasing his debut rap album at 48 years old?
Is he in the Bane voice? Let's go down to the club today.
That one of those, a song like that would be kind of cool.
Gonna get those bitches every day.
But at 48 years old, Tom Hardy has officially announced his his debut rap album, Czarface meets Frankie Pulitzer, a collaboration with acclaimed East Coast hip-hop supergroup Czarface, performing under the alias Frankie Pulitzer.
Okay.
Scheduled to be released August 28th. So shout out to Bane, man. You know, spitting bars, man.
You know, what an easy life it must be for those celebrities that just whatever they put out, whatever they put their face on.
I wish somebody would just
Someone
tell them
will
no,
buy.
though. I wish somebody would be like, nah, bro, don't. I don't think that's a good idea for you.
Yeah,
You should just not do that.
none of those people have them around.
No.
They all are yes peeps.
No.
Like, yeah, great idea, Tom. Let's go. Let's get
I was
you in
gonna
the
say,
studio.
I
Let
wonder
me book
who-
some time for you.
I wonder who Tom Dundon's yes men are.
Ooh.
I wonder who the people that are around him, because somebody had to have told him, yeah, it's a bad idea to offer a coach $1 million. That's just, I think we should do more. We can do more for these guys. It's a
don't
bad
think he
idea to
cares.
not give playoff T-shirts for the first time in like 5 years since you've been to the playoffs. I think it's a bad idea.
Really?
To do
We're
that.
going to have the T-shirt debate again?
No, I'm saying, I think there should have been, I'm curious of who the person is that told him, yeah, towels are a great idea. I love face towels. Give everybody one.
From what it sounds like, I mean, I would love to hear who his yes men are too, but the whole towel thing, man, it's just, that's what most playoff teams in most sports do, are towels. I think the Spurs did shirts this year. I don't know if they've
Every
done
team that we
shirts
saw in the
past.
playoffs did shirts except for the Trailblazers.
Okay, all right, it's a basketball
Nobody
thing.
wants a rally towel at a basketball game
Why?
because it's a basketball game. You do that at a football game. Terrible towel or something like that.
Why
This
does
isn't
anybody want a
Pittsburgh.
shirt that you're going to wear maybe one
Why does
time?
anybody
Throw
want
it
a
in
wash rag that you're going to never use? It's going to be used to for
My
something
Mariners
else.
playoff rally towel is hanging on my wall.
A rally towel for baseball makes sense.
It would for the Blazers too.
Yeah, it
there's
doesn't.
there's a rally
It
towel
didn't.
right behind me.
It didn't.
It's on our wall. You can see it over my
Yeah,
head if you're watching on
it
YouTube.
didn't. It doesn't.
It's a
Doesn't.
cool
make sense.
rally towel. I'll fight to the death about that one.
Doesn't make sense.
Those are some of the things, and actually I think kind of maybe what's happening right now is no matter what Tom Dundon says, no matter what Tom Dundon does, Rashad, people are against it. And I understand this. You just have a particular affinity for the T-shirts as opposed
Oh, no.
to
do I think the
towels.
T-shirts
I
are
get
better
that.
than the towels? For sure.
Absolutely
they are.
But do you think that Tom Dundon did it from a cheapskate point of view?
Yes.
Because I certainly do not.
Yes,
Oh,
I think he
man.
absolutely did that. If it's easier to
What's
give
the-
out a bunch of dish towels, then I'll absolutely do that instead of printing up T-shirts front and back that say something about the Blazers. I think that's much more cost efficient to just go ahead and give everybody, this face towel to use.
I mean, if you
that's just kind of what it is. The material it takes to make that towel opposed to the material it takes to make a small T-shirt.
what are we
We'll take
talking
the
like? What,
towels.
$4 or $5 a T-shirt as opposed to like a buck a towel or
$1,
something?
50 cent a towel.
Okay,
probably,
I mean,
something like
that's-
that.
I guess
outta
that's
here.
fair, but
Get out of here. I'm just
rather
curious.
have a towel.
I'm just curious. That's crazy to me. You're the only person I've heard say that. The only person. I left my towel at the game. I went to game 3 that was here, and y'all can keep this damn towel. I don't want this.
I mean, okay.
I take the Blazers cups, the beer cups.
See,
I
those
take those
are
all the
fun.
time. Sorry,
I just don't
Moda
get
Center.
it, man. It's not everybody fits in those shirts. I have never shown up to one of these games and that shirt fit me well.
I don't know why they decided to put a medium on every single
Well,
chair.
that's what I'm talking about. Is like a
Like-
towel. There is one size fits all, as opposed to you get a large. It's like, hey, I'm actually a 2X, dude. My love handles are showing,
Yeah.
and I don't want to look like that on camera.
But it's motivation to be able to fit into that shirt eventually.
Okay, dude, I haven't worn
That's
a
what I use it
medium
as.
since I was 16 in high school.
No,
Good
man.
luck with that.
I fit into a large not too long ago. It's pretty
Hey.
cool. I know you got some Dundon audio. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a nice clip from him. There was a town hall earlier this week at Moda with him talking about, the renovation plans and whether or not he's going to pay, stuff like that. And there was a really good answer that he had, just talking about, despite not wanting to contribute to the $600 million needed to renovate the actual Moda Center, they are investing in the team through various taxes that are pretty high in the state of Oregon. Take a listen.
Given the age of the arena, the normal thing to do would be to build a new arena. And so we looked at it. It felt like what other markets are doing and where they're getting tax money to do that was going to be something that would be difficult to achieve here. And so we thought the easier way to sort of solve the problem was take these dollars that are generated here. When you charge an incremental fee on a ticket, we're really just paying it. So we are investing in it, because if you didn't charge that money on the ticket, we would charge more for the ticket. Like, supply and demand works pretty well. And, obviously there's lots of places that don't have taxes at the same rate. So if you charge people taxes and invest it back into the thing that helps generate the money, relative to the market, other places, it's a huge investment. So I think everybody can characterize things however they want. I don't see it the same way, but I'm not trying to get people to agree or disagree with me. I just know it feels like we're making a pretty big investment by staying here and paying these tax rates and agreeing to these fees for dollars that go back into the building. It's not that we're taking the money. So
Say whatever you want to about Tom Dundon. He's kind of shrewd, right? A little bit. Call him calculating. Call him a jerk. Call him cheapo. Whatever you want to. Guy's sharp, man.
It's a smart businessman, right?
And you don't get to be a billionaire or even bump your shoulders with billionaires if you're not. Tom Dundon knows what he's doing, and I want to move on from this real fast. Not right now, but before I do, I wanted to just kind of go back to something. So I've been kind of diving into some old articles from I can't remember the actual what Carolina's news
Carolina
outlets
Hurricanes.
are. Yeah, but
The
what
NHL
their no, I'm saying what their news outlet is.
Oh,
out there. Forgive me.
whatever their
But I was
papers
reading
are,
some of their beat writers and stuff like that, and listening to everything that they felt initially about Dundon taking over the team. When he first purchased the Carolina Hurricanes 2008, fans initially reacted with a mix of heavy skepticism, anxiety, and outright hostility. Having endured a painful 9-year playoff drought, the fan base was deeply protective of the franchise and highly alarmed by his aggressive, unconventional, and highly clinical approach to ownership. They were pissed. And they were sad. The first thing did is come in and fire a bunch of people. Man, this has got to go. This has got to work more efficiently. The longtime broadcast team that they absolutely loved in Carolina, we're going to let y'all go too.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff. All these changes came. Oh, they're going to move the team. Look at the stuff that they're doing. Oh, they're panicking. This sucks, man. He's wanting renovations to this. Fast forward 8 years. Where are the Carolina Hurricanes?
Stanley Cup, baby.
So, I mean, say what you will, and I know it's a different market, it's a different sport. All that is true. But, in some cases, business is always going to be business, man.
And he wants to win.
And he wouldn't be doing all these things if he didn't want to win. So, all the ways that we are feeling right now, the Stanley Cup champions were feeling when he took over at that point. So, I say that to say this. Let's give him time. Right, it's not his responsibility to pay for this, pay for the arena. I'm sorry, we talked about it earlier. This is the city owns it. We, as the residents, we own it. Like it's not his responsibility to pay for that arena. It's his responsibility to bring the Trailblazers a championship and to make sure that he builds the best roster to do so. That's it. Like I know people are going to be that's just cut and dry. We got to call it what it is.
There's pretty much maybe outliers amongst this, but I would say 3 options when it comes to an owner now in professional sports, Rashad. You got a really shrewd businessman like a John Fisher for the Athletics,
right,
who doesn't want to spend any money, only looks at it as a profit generator, and always defends himself for doing so. Then you got the middle-of-the-road guy who's just kind of happy owning a team, right? I might invest in stuff. I might care, but I'm just happy to bring all my buddies and all my hedge fund bros up to the suites every day, and I own a baseball team, and I'm just kind of happy to be the face of it. Then there's the guy, and I think Tom Dundon falls into this category, that wants to come in and effing win. Whether or not he wants to spend a bunch of money to do it, like a Steve Cohen for the New York Mets, or he wants to shrewdly cut some expenses to funnel more money towards things that he thinks are going to win. Which one of those owners do you want? I personally, at some times after the early 2000s, because Paul Allen spent an F ton of money on those Blazers teams that got to the Western Conference Finals in 2000, and even a couple of years following that. He at some point backed off and said, I can't keep doing this. I am, despite being one of the richest men in the world, I am wasting money at this point. And I do feel like he kind of backed off into that middle category at some point. Just said, okay, I'm happy with owning the team. I hope we succeed, but hey, I'm a billionaire. This is what I do. The Blazers have a new life with this guy in Tom Dundon. And as far as his shrewdness goes, isn't that exactly what you want running your team if it is to win?
You have to have somebody that's going to be like that. If you look at any billionaire, I can almost guarantee 9 out of 10 of them aren't like the nicest guys or gals that you've ever met. They're billionaires for a reason. You have to be kind of cutthroat in business, and fortunately kind of understand that, hey man, that term, this is just business. Sometimes that's just what it is, and business can be ugly sometimes. And right now, unfortunately, as far as the Blazers, you're seeing some of the ugly and how it actually works. And so I think things will get better. I'm kind of optimistic,
Think the team's going to be moved?
I mean, I don't think the team's going to be moved. Honestly, I think Tom Dundon knows where his bread is buttered, and he could have moved the Hurricanes because they were really struggling. You talk about a franchise that was really struggling. The Blazers aren't that. And this city absolutely loves the Trailblazers, and they're going to show up for them, win, lose, or draw. And so, yeah, I think we're a little bit different than a lot of franchises.
Let me wrap it up with this, Rashad. First, a little context about how the Hurricanes trim costs. You talked about the radio broadcast being cut, right?
Right.
That was listened to by less than 2,000 people. And they had been paying a radio announcer who was beloved by, the Hurricanes, and I can't remember where they were before, whether if it was the Hartford Whalers or I can't remember what team they were before they came to Carolina and became the Hurricanes, or if they were just an expansion. But the whole point is that the radio broadcast there was not a moneymaker. So Tom Dundon cut it. And I know that people are looking at that and using it as an example, like, oh, he'll just cut anything. And people were initially upset at him in Carolina for doing that. But hey, look at where it got him.
Yeah.
It's just that there's different context that I think needs to be offered. And then really quickly, Rashad, number 2 on this. I do not believe that there is any chance that NBA Commissioner Adam Silver came in with whoever was going to buy the Portland Trail Blazers, that there wasn't a conversation that had to have been, hey, these are the Portland Trail Blazers. We're not moving them to Nashville. We're not moving them to Las Vegas. I am not, as commissioner of the NBA, going to have egg on my face like my predecessor David Stern did. So there's got to be, I wish I were a fly on the wall, but there's got to be a conversation that was had. And I understand that city council members are against keeping the team, or at least spending the money to keep the team, that there's people against that here locally, but I promise you, I do not believe a world, Rashad, in which Adam Silver would actually let the Blazers leave.
And I'll tell you this, the people that are voting against it or indifferent about it, they're not Blazer fans.
Obviously not. And it sounds like, I think we heard on Primetime this week, some skeletons are coming out of these Portland City Council members' closets as we're hearing about people that are against it. Yeah. Allegedly, of course.
So if you're a Blazer fan, you grew up here, you get it, you understand. Even if you're not a fan of the team, you understand the impact socioeconomically of what this, what it means. So we'll see. Moving on, man. It's that time, man. Trades are happening. Free agency is right around the corner. There's been some movement. There probably will be some more movement.
Did the Blazers get Giannis?
Oh, unfortunately, I was wrong. They did not get Giannis, but they are still in the mix for a really, really big name. We'll talk about that next, right here. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Hot 103.7 presents Legends of the West Part 2. FM and 1080 The Fan.
The NBA is getting active right now. Kind of started big with a huge trade involving the Greek Freak. Giannis Antetokounmpo is no longer a Milwaukee Buck. He has been traded to the Miami Heat for Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Khalil Ware, Kasparas Valanciunas, Yakashonis. I think I'm never saying that right.
It's okay, dude.
And a handful of draft assets.
The pick in the draft this week, 21 and 20. 31 and 33 first-round picks, and then a 2030 pick swap, and then like a second-rounder in 2033. So
yeah. Oh, and the Heat get Bobby Portis too. So that's important to mention.
Everybody forgets about. I feel bad about Bobby Portis, although don't feel bad. He's a millionaire NBA player.
Yeah, he'll be all right. He's won a championship. Bobby Portis is,
He's all right.
he's a veteran. Here's the real question: what about the Nassus? Right?
Oh, the whole Antetokounmpo family is going to be roaming the Miami sidelines this season.
Yeah,
that
unfortunately,
has to be true.
Miami or the Bucks did Giannis a solid by keeping his brother on the roster for as long as he was, because we all know Thanasis is not a good basketball player. But he is Giannis's brother. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. And hey, he got to go with his bro. But the Miami Heat, I'm not really sure what to make of this roster yet. You've got two bigs, so arguably, not even arguably, definitely the best, front court of anybody in the NBA at this point when you're talking just about having Bam Adebayo and Giannis Antetokounmpo at your 4 and 5. However you want to put them at your 4 and 5, that's a problem. Who's handling the ball for them and who's doing a lot of the other scoring and what their bench looks like, I don't know. I got a call from Miami to get some minutes off the bench, so we'll see. I think they're pretty desperate right now, but yeah, initially when I saw that, I thought they would get a little bit more for Giannis, but I guess if you're Milwaukee, you do get a Tyler Hero. I do like Jaime Jaquez Jr. I think he's better than advertised, and he could take off and really flush on somebody's head. So I think he's one of those guys. But, initial thoughts were like, okay, well, Giannis is gone. It's over. It's been like, almost 3 years? The Bucks were terrible this year, and I think it was just time for them to cut the cord. Tyler Hero, outside of 1 year in Miami, really hasn't been awesome. And so maybe going home to Milwaukee, where he's born and raised, might be exactly what he needs too. So it could be a good thing for both teams, but really the Heat are the one that come out on top just because you are still in the East and you get Giannis and Bam.
Yeah, they gave up quite the haul. They're going to have to find pieces to put around Giannis, obviously. It's funny that Giannis, initially says, I don't know if it's more the situation in Milwaukee or, if he really is talking about the roster and incomplete pieces around him, not feeling like he really has a good enough team like he did when they won the championship. Like, I don't know what the real reason is. It sounds like there was a long article done by, I think it was the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel about Giannis's time there and kind of how things started to crack. And I'm kind of glad that he's not a member of the Portland Trail Blazers after reading that. It didn't sound like after Damian Lillard arrived, which is something that both him and Giannis had talked about and pushed for quite a while, that it really worked out that well. Giannis was reportedly incredulous, I think the word was.
Incredulous?
Incredulous when Dame was taking a late game shot and Giannis had to give that up.
What, the guy that's had a game-winning or game-tying shot on every team in the NBA?
I mean,
You're surprised about that?
I don't understand. So Giannis wanted Dame to come to Milwaukee, but no, this is an understanding that we're not talking about that you're just going to play second fiddle to me. And honestly, I don't think Dame Lillard went in with that mentality. He, as we've heard him talk about in several interviews, just wanted to try to fit in. So it's pretty crazy that, Giannis said he wanted Dame, but all of a sudden he doesn't want all of Dame when he gets there. It's just like, dude, I guess you've been kind of given whatever you wanted to this point, so when you don't get it, this is kind of what we see, a little bit of pissing and moaning. So I didn't like to see that. Kind of happy after that article came out that he is in Miami. And the haul that they gave up, you talk about a ball handler, Tyler Hero. They don't have a point guard. Where are they going to go? Are they going to reacquire Drew Holiday from the Blazers or something to join with Giannis?
And I think Norman Powell's a free agent, right?
Yes, yeah, Norman Powell. And I believe they are not expected to bring him back, is I think what I saw a day or two ago.
Essentially, you left Milwaukee to go to the exact same situation in just a much hotter city.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, because if you look at this roster, and I'm looking at it right now, it's pretty ass, man. Bam, Giannis, Ryan Conwell, whoever he is from Louisville. I think he's a rookie. No. Trey Donaldson, Myron Gardner, Kasheed Johnson, Trevor Keels. Like, who are these people? Bobby Portis, Davion Mitchell, Norman Powell, who'll no longer be there. I'm not sure what Wiggins' contract. I think Wiggins is a free agent this year too, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Man, you go from one playing team to another playing team.
So I'm not really sure about that. But again, you don't go where you want to go. You go where the franchise gets the most value from.
I'm sure he was okay with Miami.
I'm sure he was too. No, there's no state tax there.
No.
So you're going to get all that money, or at least most of it, there in Miami.
Is he, man, do you really think that he's going to be competing hard for a championship? Or is this going to be like, you know what, I've won my NBA title?
No, Giannis is a gamer. He's one of those guys that wants to win.
For sure.
So
I'm just asking. I'm not trying to bag on the guy.
I think he's one of those guys that wants to win. I think he'd be good for Miami. I just don't think they have a good squad around him. One squad that was a good squad, but now they're a questionable one, is the Minnesota Timberwolves, because they made a big trade this week too. The Timberwolves acquire LaMelo Ball and Josh Green, who was actually a very solid wing for the Hornets, and I think he's going to be a good part of this Minnesota team. Although Minnesota had to give up Naz Reid, which is big for them, the 2033 unprotected first-round pick, 2028 first-round swap, 29 first-round swap, and 30 first-round swap, as well as 3 second-round picks, 29, 32, and 33.
Man.
So they lost a lot of their future. They better hope this works. They also traded Julius Randle earlier in the week as well. So all of the bigs that Minnesota had, all of their physicality is gone. They are now left to rely on Rudy Gobert to be the sole kind of big for this team, because you just traded your other two. LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards on the same team, not even arguably, this is definitely, on paper, the best backcourt in the NBA.
Well, they did re-sign Ayo Dosunmu as well. That was one of their top priorities this offseason in Minnesota. They accomplished that during these moves happening as well. Man, I like the move for the Timberwolves. I like LaMelo Ball. I wish that the Blazers would have made this move. I don't think that the cost was that bad. Yeah, Naz Reid, he's pretty good, but he wasn't their main option at center. He was a backup center, right?
But he was off your bench was important for this Minnesota squad. Now you're kind of left in a similar situation as Milwaukee or Miami. Forgive me, too many M's. And you don't really have much of a bench now. You traded Naz. You just traded your big and Julius Randle. Now you're kind of light. You're kind of light right now.
Now, I do understand that there's a lot of picks, at least swaps. I think Charlotte gets like 3 first-round pick swaps, so I think that was probably something the Blazers wouldn't want to get involved in. But as far as the cost of acquisition, a first-round pick in 2033, 3 second-rounders, man, the cost of acquisition, it's bordering on, don't get in the conversation, but I don't think it was that high. The Blazers were among the teams that were involved, according to ESPN. So they were definitely knocking the door down. We're looking supposedly for Jaylen Brown with the Celtics still after being a facilitator for the Giannis trade is not going to happen. Obviously looking at, we did not know, but they wanted LaMelo Ball afterwards, and
which I don't love. I wouldn't have loved that.
But at least they do something.
Yeah,
right?
I'm glad they're in the mix, but that's the one thing. As much as I like LaMelo, not here. I don't think it would have worked here in Portland. I think Minnesota is the great place for him. So, yeah, a couple big moves here in the Western Conference, man. Will there be more? We'll talk about it, because the Blazers are actively pursuing Jaylen Brown, and I guess have been for quite a while, to make sure he can get him in the Trailblazers uniform. We'll talk about that next. But first, here's Jordan with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, a full slate of World Cup action for you this afternoon, starting at 2 p.m. Ghana and Croatia getting going on FS1. Then you got Panama taking on England, also at 2 p.m. on Fox. Over to the Diamond, the Mariners getting a 3-1 win over the Guardians in Cleveland last night, thanks to Colt Emerson's 7th whammy of the year. They're right back at it this afternoon. Gilbert v. Sassoni on the bump. 4:10 first pitch on Mariners TV. And over to golf, the Travelers Championship happening right now over in Cromwell, Connecticut. Scotty Scheffler, your leader at 16 under, getting going here in just about 30 minutes, along with Victor Hovland in second place at 14 under. Akshay Bhatia and Eric Cole at 12 under, getting going just before them in third. And then you got Brian Harman right now, almost done with his third round. He is now tied for 5th place at 11 under, along with a gaggle of guys. Chris Gotterup, Jackson Suber there as well. Both of them are on the 14th. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schultze from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for the Oregon Ducks, the Fan Sports Network.
The rumors, they are a swirling. I'm just glad to hear that the Trailblazers are involved in them. I don't really care if they get anybody right now. I think
I do.
No, I mean, I would like that to happen, right? Obviously, that would be ideal if it did. But also, like, who would be the casualties if the Blazers did make a big move? I think they're all thinking the young guys are going to go. It's going to be a young guy, but what if that young guy is somebody that you're not necessarily keen on leaving the Trailblazers? There's a good chance. I've been seeing a lot of trade proposals or scenarios that would include names like Drew Holiday, that would include names like Donovan Clingan. We've already talked about we know Scoot or Shaden, or potentially Scoot and Shaden would be moved. So we can expect to see one of those guys gone, right? At least one, bare minimum. There's a good chance two of them go. But I think if Jaylen Brown is coming here to the Portland Trailblazers, it's going to come at the expense of a guy that the fans really love. And I said this a while ago, like, it's going to happen. And unfortunately, somebody that you really respect and think is a huge part of this team, somebody that you think is invaluable to this team, is going to get clipped. And for me, the one player I've been hearing a lot of, which I absolutely hate and would do that for me, is losing Drew Holiday. We know the Celtics would take Drew Holiday back in a heartbeat. However, the Blazers, I think that type of calm, cool, collected point guard play, you don't really find a whole lot in the NBA today.
Jaylen Brown is a game changer immediately
100%.
for your franchise. It would mark the biggest acquisition for Portland.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, I don't think that. Since Scottie Pippen.
Yeah,
Like
Pippen,
literally,
that would be, yeah.
I think
That'd be
since Scottie
would be the last
Pippen,
one.
who they traded 6 or 7 no names for, basically Walt Williams, Carlos Rogers, Stacey Augmon, who they ended up getting back anyways, like getting a huge win on that
Stacey Augmon
trade.
was cold, bro.
He was Spider, right? Is what
Yeah.
they called him because he was so freaking long.
Stacey Augmon was nice.
Absolutely, or like Plastic Man. That was man going back to old
Walt
Blazers.
Williams was nice too. I met Walt Williams a couple times. Man.
Yeah,
Cool
but Walt,
dude.
after he got traded, man, just kind of fell off the face of the earth.
He was
So
having a great time in Portland. He was kicking it here.
if the Blazers can get a huge successful return like they did with Scottie and Jaylen Brown here, I think no matter who's included, just think about that in the frames of historic big deals for the Blazers. Like, guys, this is what happened last time. This is what could happen this time. Comes in, scores 30 a game, immediately makes you a contender in the Western Conference. Now, would you be okay, Rashad, with like a Shaedon Sharpe
Yes.
being included?
Yes.
What about a Donovan Clingan being included?
Do we keep Rob Williams?
Rob Williams is technically a free agent right now, I think.
If you keep Rob Williams, yes.
Okay.
Only because, man, Donovan Clingan, like, the one thing he's not going to be able to do is he's not going to be able to move faster than he does. He's still going to be a liability against bigger or against quicker 4s and 5s that he has to guard, like, on the wing. Like, he can't guard anybody when he gets out there. If they're not at the rim, then, unfortunately, he doesn't have the lateral speed to do that.
I mean, if we're talking like a deal with Jaylen Brown, whose salary I think is right around 35, 36 million, something like that, I think a Jeremy Grant contract would definitely
Jeremy
be
Grant
included
has
in
to
the deal.
go. Unfortunately, I like
Yeah.
Jeremy Grant. I
Yeah.
like him a lot when he's
We've been
healthy
hearing he's going to
and
be
he's
traded,
on.
though, for years.
Which would be really frustrating for me if I'm Jeremy Grant. Like, at this point, just let me go. You clearly don't want me here. You gave me all this money. Like, just let me go. But other teams don't really want Jeremy Grant like that either, which is the kicker.
Okay, what about Scoot being included in the deal? That's an obvious yes.
It's
Right?
not an obvious yes, considering the way Scoot played for the Blazers in the playoffs. It's not an
Okay.
obvious yes, but
Okay.
yes, for yes.
It would not make you balk at it. You'd be like, of
I'd be
course.
sad for a second because
Okay.
I think Scoot showed us where he could be really impactful for this team.
What about Tamani Kamara?
That would break my heart.
So would that be a no for you?
That would be a no. Tamani Kamara, Denny Avia, and really Drew Holiday, in my opinion, are the only people on the team that I'm like, yeah, don't touch those guys. Everybody else can go.
I mean, it's just kind of going to come down
With
to
the exception of Damian Lillard, obviously. But everybody else on that team, I can part with.
it's going to come down to exactly what they value on the court player-wise and then what contracts are going to match up, versus what picks Boston wants included, which I don't know if you've heard, but the report is
They want 4
first-round
firsts,
picks
yeah.
for Jaylen Brown, which the Blazers have. And I would say give them the F up immediately. What did Josh Hart say? F them picks.
Yeah, F
We
them
here.
picks. Hey, for real. And if they're only asking for, we want 4 firsts, just take them all.
Sure.
Here.
Give that
Take 'em
on
all.
a freaking platter. That
'em all.
plus Jeremy Grant, Shaedon Sharpe.
No.
and
At that point, if you want all 4,
No,
can
you still
take
have to
him
make the
and
salary
Jeremy.
match. You
Take
still have to
him
make the
and
salary
Jeremy, and
match.
but we're not giving you
Jeremy
that'd be
Grant, what is he at, like 20, 25? You still need an extra 10 or so in there. So
All right.
there's like a Shaedon Sharpe
Take
that would help
Shaedon.
match that. I think a Donovan Clingan would help match that. I think a Scoot Henderson would help match that. There's options, but Tamani Kamara is kind of around that number, but at that point, if it's 4 first-round
you got an
picks,
all-defensive
I don't think
dude.
you include Tamani
You got an
Kamara.
all-defensive dude in Tamani Kamara. It's important if you're the Blazers because you don't have the luxury of being able to give away all of your talent.
Yeah.
So you got to this place because you have a really deep, talented team, but the reason you're so good is because you were so deep. Like, give away what you have to give away, but don't do more than you have to. Sincerely, I say if you can get away with giving Jeremy Grant and a Shaedon, which I think will be great for them because Shaedon gives you a 3-point shooter, it gives you an explosive player at the rim. I think they get more from Shaedon from a Celtic standpoint, and they get with Scoot, and you get a chance to play alongside Jason Tatum. Let's not forget that part. You get to go to Boston and play
true.
alongside arguably the the second or third best, maybe even the best small forward in the league in Jason Tatum.
I mean, despite the questions of whether or not Shaden actually cares night to night, I think the negative of trading Shaden in this deal would be the three-point shooting. Like the Blazers, they're getting Dame back. Their three-point shooting is going to be helped tremendously. They're looking maybe at guys like John Collins in free agency. They've got a mid-level exception that they can use. So whether or not they bring like Matisse or Robert Williams back or go maybe with more shooting, they're so low on the shooting end that like Shaden actually makes me a little more nervous than I initially think.
I think that's why you have to be aggressive during free agency and go after a shooter. And they're out there. There are guys, if you look at the free agent market right now, there are some shooters available that would be, great fits for this Trailblazer squad. They just have to go out there and get them. I don't want to put I wouldn't put all of your eggs into the Jaylen Brown basket, because I do think you are going to need to make some more deals. And you are going to have to figure out a way to get some other guys in. I think, unfortunately, if Jaylen Brown does get traded to the Trailblazers, that won't be the only move they make. I would be prepared to see another key part of this Blazer team dealt, because they want to make room for, again, a shooter, somebody that can come in and really relieve Dame in certain moments and be able to take the pressure off of this offense.
Yeah, looking at like the possible scenarios, I really think the most interesting piece in this is, we've kind of been throwing names out there, is Donovan Clingan. You say that's a really big piece to give up. But it's like I'm not sure that I care so much, man. And this is, you're talking to a guy that I said this on Dirt and Sprague yesterday. Rashad, I invested money into Donovan Clingan, like signed autographed rookie cards. Like I thought, because of the way he was playing this year, super undervalued, really great young Blazers center. I've always thought that if he just kind of rounds out the edges of his game, he really can become like a Karl Anthony Towns, which we saw peak Cat in the NBA Finals. It's like, okay, this is what we've all been wanting out of Cat forever now. That is, I think, what Donovan Clingan's ceiling is. How fast is it going to take him to get there? Are there still going to be more growing pains in the next 2 or 3 seasons?
And that's why people want him, because you see the growth that Clingan has. You see where he is. I don't hate Donovan Clingan. I just think that sometimes defensively, he can be a bit of a liability. Offensively, he just don't have no moves down there that he can kind of go to. Now, you hope with an offseason, a successful offseason, especially after having a successful regular season, that he would kind of improve on those things and come back better than ever. I just hope if he does do that, it's in a Trailblazer jersey and not a Boston Celtics one. So, let's talk about something else. There's something else we want to talk about before we wrap this up, man. There's a guy who should be coveted by most people, but for whatever reason isn't right now in free agency. That guy goes by the name of King James. What's the best landing spot for LeBron? Let's wrap that up. Let's wrap up the show with that. What do you say, Jordan?
I mean, talking LeBron is always fun.
I know,
it's
man.
polarizing,
and it's going to piss some people off too. So let's go ahead and talk some Bron on Sports Saturday on The Fan.
You're not just earning credits.
10:45, Saturday, June 27th. Man,
Feels
this
like
year is-
October.
it feels like it, man. And this year is just zooming past, man. It's already July almost.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of which, there is no Sports Saturday for the 4th of July. We will be off for the day, probably hanging out doing some stuff, man. So any big plans for you for the 4th of July?
We are doing some stuff with friends. I'm not sure if it's going to be like at the bar or, just hanging out watching fireworks down on the waterfront, but we'll be hanging out here in Portland. Should be
That's
fun.
what's up. Yeah. So I don't have much to do. A buddy of mine's birthday is on the 5th, man. Kick it with that guy and see what's up, man. So one of his favorite players that he'll love me talking about is one LeBron James.
All right.
So LeBron is not he's a free agent. Yeah, LeBron's a free agent, and now just trying to find the best landing spot for him. So far, doesn't seem to be a whole lot of interest for LeBron. And I don't think people are interested in paying the maxed contract that he wants for a 42-year-old player at this point. But I was kind of thinking, like, where does LeBron go? Because at this point, whichever team he ends with will be the end. That'll be the last team that he plays with, and that will kind of set the sun on LeBron's career. And so I was curious of which spaces for you, Jordan, make the most sense for LeBron to retire.
I mean, a return to L.A. so we can just play with his kids still.
That would be the easiest thing.
Yeah.
It wouldn't disrupt his life at all. He doesn't have to do anything. Just re-sign and kind of keep playing. His kids are in school there, or at least his daughter is in school in the LA area. Son plays for Arizona, so he's not super far away.
Yeah,
it makes sense for him to stay in LA. And you play with Luka, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you've got a good situation there. Not sure what his relationship is with JJ Redick, but
they had a podcast together, right? They don't anymore because they're But
I don't think they had one together.
Yeah, they did. Him and
right.
JJ, before Steve Nash took over, it was him and JJ Redick that had the podcast together, and then JJ became his coach. So there you go there. But
Cleveland. I mean, everybody's talking about Cleveland. Pair him with Donovan Mitchell up for year or two more. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen.
Now
Cleveland
Cleveland for me makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Like that would give him the best team that he's really ever had there. He wouldn't have to worry about being the guy there. He's LeBron, so he's going to carry that cachet with him.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't have to worry about being a 25.7 rebound. He wouldn't have to worry about doing that. He could really come in and contribute with 25 and 5 every night and be a key part of a successful Cavs team, especially if you're talking about playing alongside of Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley if he plays anything like he did in the regular season and not the playoffs. The one sleeper team, and I guess this is the team that would break the internet.
Yep.
If it did happen, we all know what it is.
Good God.
Which I would hate for the first kind of 5 minutes after I heard it, and then I would kind of love it after that. And that would be LeBron
sick.
James signing with his arch nemesis, Golden State Warriors.
How would you like that? How
Did
would you
see
end
the
up
Olympics?
loving that?
Did you see the Olympics?
Yeah, but that's just him and
do
Curry.
do you remember?
right?
Do you remember how cool that was? Like LeBron to Curry for the night and everything like that. Could you imagine seeing that every night?
No,
That would be cool.
I like my Blazers, and they are representing our country in the Olympics. That's awesome.
Well, at the
whole
same
different
time,
feeling in the NBA. man.
I still don't think like that team would be good enough to win anything.
Well, no, because that's the thing. It's like you're talking about the Olympics, like the gold medal players
Yeah.
that they had around them. It's not as
Yeah.
not as great in Golden State. Right
Yeah,
now.
I don't think they would win anything. Although it would be cool. Would it not have been cool to see Magic and Larry play 1 year together? Their last, would that not have been cool?
I mean, Larry would have only played like 30 games. His back was already given out on
Doesn't
him.
matter. It still would have been cool to see, right? Them. I mean, that's
Yeah.
why them playing in the Dream Team together was so dope. Like,
But that was
okay.
different then, man. I don't know. You guys weren't taking up all kinds of spots like or money on the roster being together like that. And actually, that is one key note here for Golden State. LeBron would have to take a significant pay cut. Which,
I don't think he would mind. LeBron.
Really, you think?
No, I don't think he would mind.
It's weird that he would do that for Golden State, but he wouldn't do that to like stay home and maybe help the Lakers acquire more talent, or maybe go to Cleveland and help them
The
acquire more
Lakers
talent.
don't
It just
have
doesn't make sense.
The Lakers don't have a Steph Curry. As good as Luka is, as great as Luka is, Luka's never won anything.
But if LeBron took $15 million, they could go spend $20 million on somebody else.
Probably so.
That's all I'm
Probably
saying.
so.
It just makes sense, or it doesn't make sense to me that the Golden State Warriors are the only team, and this is why I think maybe it's more wishful thinking from the media's end instead of like actually a possibility that for this one team, I'll take a pay cut. I get it. It's Steph Curry. That's an allure. But is it not just as alluring to finish your career up either in Los Angeles, where you just won a title recently, where you've established yourself as one of the Laker greats, go home to Cleveland, finish your career in the hometown, kind of hero status that you've grown up with there. Like, there's a lot of situations that are positives for him. I guess Steph Curry rules all, though. If you get to play with him, all of a sudden you'll take $30 million less.
It's a game changer, and I'm sure it won't be $30 million less, but I'm sure he will take less.
Well,
to
what's
go
the
play
max?
with
Like
Steph.
45, 50?
Honestly, I don't even know.
I mean,
looking at
I think the
contract.
numbers, they're saying that he would have to sign for like 15 to 17 million in Golden State for the numbers to work. So it would be a pretty
And
darn
the
big
other
pay
question
cut.
is, how bad does he want to be in LA? How much does he
there
want to
you
be in
go.
LA? How much does LA really want him? I mean, I think there's a lot of questions around that. But yeah, if I'm LeBron and I get a chance to play with Steph and the price tag is even kind of right, then I'll probably end up doing that. And the last one, for obvious reasons for a lot of people, is where he won his first 2 championships, and that would be to play with the now Giannis Antetokounmpo-led Miami Heat. And how much fun would that be to see LeBron, Giannis, and Bam? Again, that'd be a really big, really strong, non-jump shooting ass team to watch, but it would be pretty fun.
They would have to do a lot, though, to make that even happen. I think cap-wise.
They've done it before.
Man, but it would
They've
be
done it before.
It would be like Giannis, Bam, LeBron, and then you and I is essentially what it would boil down to.
And again, they've done that before, and they made it all the way to the finals doing that with that kind of team that they kind of band-aided together, put some scotch tape on and everything like that. They made it all the way to the finals. So it can work when you have
Go get a
talented
veteran
people to
Mike
do it.
Conley or something, sign him for the minimum.
Yeah, or just don't let who were we just talking about? Norman Powell walk. I mean, so there are things to do. There are things you can do. But, yeah, I really think if LeBron is really serious about ending his career, chasing number 5, I truly think the Cleveland Cavaliers would really give him the best chance to do that. They were in the conference finals this year. They were close to the conference finals the year before. They had the best record in the league, not last year, not this season, but the past season.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Donovan Mitchell, who is a stud, and he's just having some issues getting out of the playoffs. But for the longest time, they were saying Donovan just couldn't get out of the first round. Then he finally made it to the conference finals, and now it's like, well, no, we don't know what he can do. He just needs somebody to help get him over the hump. LeBron James as a third option for a team can definitely be the guy to get you over the hump.
Do you think, you mentioned trying for a 5th championship, do you think he'd have more than 6 if he had stayed with one team through his career? And maybe not even one team. Do you think if he had either gone to Miami and stayed there, or even gone back to Cleveland the second time and stayed there, do you think he'd have 6?
No.
No?
Only because Pat Riley just wouldn't. Pat Riley did what Pat Riley does, and he is known to force superstars out of Miami. That's just kind of what he does. So I think that would have fallen apart eventually. And then in Cleveland, at a point, they just weren't good enough. Once Golden State, after they got KD, that's when things were like, okay, they're clearly too far behind. And at that point, remember at the beginning of LeBron's career, everybody was flocking to play with LeBron. Got to play with LeBron. Got to be over there. And then it got to a point to where people were like, yeah, I don't want to be another superstar playing on side.
But he moved into a much more competitive Western Conference from the Cavaliers at that point. He won a title, in the pandemic-shortened season in the bubble, but I just feel like...
Which is the hardest championship ever to me.
Okay. Yes and no. But there's more time to build something in Cleveland, like regardless of whether or not you got bad for a season or two. Like, he only won one title in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 years with the Lakers. So he left Cleveland because he thought he was going to get like 3 more rings in LA?
No, he left Cleveland because he went to go play in LA. Like, I mean, we talk about this all the time. There's a huge difference between Cleveland, Ohio, Los Angeles,
and
California.
why do you want to go back to Cleveland in the first place? Like, and now he wants to go home again. Do you understand what I'm saying? This all doesn't make sense to me.
I feel you. And none of it ever makes sense in the eyes of an athlete. Why do some guys go to the teams they go to in the first place? There's always a reason. And for LeBron, I think it was playing in the Lakers jersey. being a Los Angeles Laker, being a champion. Like, he'll be say what you want to about the bubble or whatever. It still counts as
He's
one
a
of those
champion.
17 championships that the Lakers have. So, and he's got it. So he's in that conversation with Laker greats. Is he the greatest Laker of all time? No. Is he even top 5 Lakers of all time? No. But he's still on that. Neither's James Worthy, but he's still on that list of great Lakers all time. And so I think that's saying one thing. As great as the Cavaliers were and as good of a franchise as it's been, it ain't no damn Los Angeles Lakers, bro. You know what I mean? Like, if Jalen Brunson had won that championship at Dallas, great. Good job. Nice champion. It ain't New York. Things are just different. You're considered different when you win in certain places. So,
and as much as I hate LeBron, Rashad, I am very excited to watch what a 42-year-old LeBron James can do on the court next year. Like,
really
I am
good.
so stoked.
He's really good. So, so your final answer: LeBron James ends up fill in the blank.
Back with LA. I don't think they're going to screw it up. I think if they let LeBron go, the Lakers are going to be in turmoil trying to just fill the pieces with like maybe I don't know. They'd have to at that point go get like Jaylen Brown or another star, which sure, that's good, but it's not LeBron. It's not what we've been building around. Although maybe they want to take the next step and just go with Luka. So I think it is definitely LA the most likely. I can't believe I'm saying this, with Golden State as a weird dark horse second.
It's crazy. I think it's going to be LA. I'm going Golden State second.
There we go.
I think that would be awesome. I think what a way for him to end his career, for them to end their careers, is LeBron and Steph playing together. And even if Klay decided, I'm going to sign for a veteran's minimum and go back to Golden State, all of a sudden, I like that team. And I'd actually even, support Golden State for the rest of the year.
Yeah, Cleveland and Miami. Cleveland might have the money, but I don't think him going back there for a third time is very likely. And Miami, yes, it's workable, but I just don't see that actually happening. He
would be the point guard, though.
That have to
we
be
talked
made.
about the point guard and who would be the point guard, and LeBron would definitely move into that role and have two just freaks of nature being able to run towards the rim. You have no choice but to get out the way if Bam and Giannis are coming at you with LeBron handling the ball. Like, you have no choice but to just
Well, they got Bobby Portis, too.
And you got Bobby Portis.
Forgetting Bobby
right?
Portis.
And,
So
Bobby Portis
they would have 4 guys.
Yeah, so he's going to come off your bench and just really be what Thanasis really was for Giannis, but now he can be that guy. And who knows, maybe Thanasis can get signed too, and they can have more bigs and kind of move from there. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens for them, because LeBron James, whether you love him or hate him, is one of the greatest basketball players, top 2 of all time. So it'll be fun to see.
I hate him off the court, but I love him on the court. It's it's a weird relationship.
Man. He's LeBron James. Like, off the court, he's kind of a doucher, but on the court, like, he's again one of the top 2. And Kobe's my favorite player of all time. Like, LeBron James is top 2 basketball players of all time, depending on where you want to put him, man.
Oh, man, good stuff.
Yeah, great stuff, man. So, well, that music means all but one thing. It means we're all but wrapped up here on Sports Saturday on The Fan. Man, Jordan, good look, man. Way to adjust on the fly.
I mean, we've done this before. It wasn't so much on the fly. I did not expect Joe to be in this morning.
I was expecting that message last night, but it came a little earlier than we want. So shout out to my guy Joe Fisher. Hopefully he had a great time at the World Cup, once in a lifetime type thing. And hopefully y'all had a great time with us here on Sports Saturday. We will not be here next Saturday, so hopefully you all enjoy your Independence Day. Happy 4th of July to you all. Please be safe out there. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do.
Don't pull a Jason Pierre-Paul.
And if
please.
you do, take pictures. Just saying. Don't pull a JPP. Please keep all your fingers and toes intact. Jordan, thank you as always, brother.
Yeah, appreciate you. Love you, brother. Love you all out there. Have a very happy and safe 4th.
Please do. Please do. So, for my guy Jordan Schultz, this is Rashad Taylor. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks. Peace.